Microsoft recently released their latest quarterly figures, a bit across the board, other than a small tiny miss when it comes to cloud. Now, of course, we know Microsoft, Alphabet, AWS, cloud gets a lot of attention. But to me, being down, well, first before the earnings call, stock was down 7 to 8% or so. After the earnings call, stock is down now 3.7%. This is after hours when the market opens, plus Jerome Powell is expected to speak on Wednesday. Things can change. But such a tiny miss, erasing hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap, to me, does not make lots of sense. You will see it's a pretty strong quarter. Now, of course, yes, year to date, Microsoft is up 12.8%. Of course, it will be up a little bit less after hours, but the company has been doing extremely well. So if you can buy this company at a cheaper price while it is still executing, I think that's a good deal. Now, yes, it is true that Microsoft is not the cheapest of the big tech companies out there. By all accounts, I mean, all of these metrics here, they are higher than their 5-year mean, and price earnings to growth is higher than a lot of other companies that were looked at, sits at 2.42. We've looked at Meta, Alphabet, for example, it is lower. And even Amazon is lower. It sits at 1.66. Amazon will report their quarterly figures on Thursday. We will, of course, cover that on the channel. And so before continuing, it's been a pretty busy day here on the channel. I think this is the 4th company that we're covering today. So pretty busy. I love it. I love it. I cannot lie. If you enjoy this type of content, do leave it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Notification bell on, especially for this earnings season, so you're not missing any update. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. And so, for the quarter, revenue was $64.7 billion, an increase of 15%. Operating income, $27.9 billion, an increase of 15% as well. Net income, $22 billion, increasing 10%. And diluted earnings per share increasing 10% as well to reach $2.95. Satya here saying, our strong performance this fiscal year speaks both to our innovation and to the trust customers continue to place in Microsoft. As a platform company, we are focused on meeting the mission-critical needs of our customers across our at-scale platforms today, while also ensuring we lead the AI era. We close out our fiscal year with a solid quarter, highlighted by record bookings and Microsoft Cloud quarterly revenue of $36.8 billion, up 21% year over year. And so, revenue in productivity and business processes was $20.3 billion, and increased 11% year over year. LinkedIn revenue increased 10%, bit of the same last quarter. Small deceleration in growth when it comes to Office commercial product and cloud services revenue. Moving on to the intelligent cloud segment, that was $28.5 billion, an increase of 19%. Now, service products and cloud services revenue increased 21%, driven by Azure and other cloud services revenue growth of 29%. That's here the tiny miss overall. In my opinion, not such a big deal since this is still growing quite fast. Revenue in more personal computing was $15.9 billion and increased 14%. Devices revenue decreased 11%. Xbox content and services revenue increased 61%. Of course, that's driven by the acquisition of Activision. Search and news advertising revenue excluding TAC, so traffic acquisition cost, increased 19%. That's also a reacceleration quarter over quarter. And lastly, Microsoft returned $8.4 billion to shareholders in form of share repurchases and dividends in the 4th quarter. As for the whole year, their whole fiscal year 2024, by the way, next quarter is fiscal year 2025. So if you're reading or hearing the earnings call, just bear that in mind. Revenue came in at $245.1 billion, increased 16% year over year. I mean, just try and think about it. A company, $3 trillion in market cap, still growing revenue by 16% year over year. Net income increased 22% year over year. Diluted earnings per share increasing 22% year over year as well. This is tremendous. This is an exceptional business. And so from the call, we know now that the revenue guide missed by 1.6%, EBIT guide misses by 0.7%, they guided to 28 to 29% FX neutral basis Azure growth, reiterated 10% plus revenue and EBIT growth for 2025. Azure growth slower for the first half of fiscal year 2025 to build capacity to meet demand. They're also, increasing capex. Might not be great for the short term, but for the longer term, it basically secures their dominance, and growth is accelerating or expected to accelerate in the second half of fiscal 2025. Satya also said this: the number of paid models in service customers more than doubled quarter over quarter, and we are seeing increased usage by leaders in every industry, from Adobe to Bridgestone to Novo Nordisk and Palantir. Yes, they mentioned Palantir. I don't think this is a coincidence. And so right now, for those of you that like to buy stocks, the dip, or opening a position based on technicals or graphs or whatever, we are closing in on the 200-day moving average. It was actually a little bit below when the stock was down 7 to 8%. The 200-day moving average sits at $402.8. Now the price of the stock of Microsoft sits at $407. Can we get below the 200-day? Will it rebound? Remains to be seen tomorrow, but definitely a much better area right now than a couple of weeks back when the stock was a little bit overbought. Again, Microsoft, one of the best and biggest companies on the planet, and I expect it to stay that way for years and years to come. So to conclude, another very strong quarter by Microsoft, by the management. I mean, Microsoft, like I said, one of the best businesses to own. It was one of the first companies I did buy in my portfolio when I started investing in 2016. Should have held on to those shares. Yes, you live and you learn. But for those that want to add more to their positions, yes, dips happen even when we look at such great companies like Microsoft, as we've just seen. Now, can it go lower? Of course, the market will do what the market will do in the short run. Like I said, Jerome Powell is also expected to speak. I don't think we're going to see or get rate cuts tomorrow, right? But maybe the commentary will be good enough to push stocks higher. Or of course, the opposite can happen. So let's wait and see what happens on Wednesday. It's also full-on earnings season. Like we've seen, Microsoft reports, Amazon, Meta were down as well because of that tiny miss on the cloud segment. Now, Amazon after hours has recovered a little bit, but the market always gives you good opportunities to buy great companies for the long run, and Microsoft is definitely that. So that would be it for this video. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.